excitability property is over. So next is the conductivity. Okay, so conductivity is a ability of the tissue to transmit the impulse from one node one end to the another to other. Okay, so conductivity is the ability of the tissue to transmit the impulse from one end to the other. So that means this action potential, the excitability action is producing in the form of action potential. This action potential is transmitted from one end to another in the nerve fiber. Okay, so in axon, the conduction is towards terminal buttons physiologically. So that means, so this is one nerve. Okay, suppose this is one nerve, the dendrites. This is axon. So in the axon, there is a terminal buttons are there, right? There are terminal buttons. So many terminal buttons are there. So that will contact with another neuron. So this is another neuron. So like this, there are so many millions of neurons are present. So between this and this neuron, okay, this terminal buttons, so the transmission is taking place. Suppose this producer got a stimulus, okay, produce an action potential. This impulse is transmitted, conduction in axon, okay. So through the axon, it will reach the terminal buttons. So from the terminal buttons, it make a synapse, that the process because of synapse with the another neuron. So like this, the conduction is taking place. So in the nerve fiber, we can see in a myelinated nerve fiber, the conduction is very fast. So that we consider saltatory conduction or saltatory type. Okay, that is 70 to 120 meter per second. The impulses are transferring. Okay, this is a stimulus. So this is how it is going. When you apply the stimulus, so before that, the inside is negative, outside is positive. So wherever you apply the stimulus, suppose here, so you can see outside become negative, inside become positive. Okay, so here what will happen? So it is jumping from one node to another node. Okay. So that is about the conductivity. So next is all or none law. So in all or none law, if a stimulus is sub-threshold, there is no action potential is produced. Once the threshold intensity is reached, a full-fledged action potential is produced. That means if the stimulus is proper, okay, so if you are applying 30 millivolts of a stimulus, the nerve is not excited for this stimulus, there is no action potential. Okay, there is no action potential is produced. If you increase the strength of 50 millivolts, okay, if you are applying the stimulus of 50 millivolts to the nerve, so it will producing a action potential, full-fledged of action potential. So either if it is below stimulus threshold, this 50 millivolts we call the threshold stimulus. So where the nerve is giving a response like that. Okay. Further, if you increase the strength, so 50, now you are applying a 60 millivolts or 70 millivolts. If you are increasing the strength, but it is not producing a bigger curve like this. Okay, so it will produce the same curve, the action potential curve is same like 50 millivolts. Okay, if you further increase the intensity of a stimulus, there is no increment in the height of the action potential. It is not giving a bigger action potential like that. Okay, so that is called all or none law. Either it will give a full-fledged response to the threshold stimulus, or it will not give any response at all. So that is called all or none law. Next, last one is a refractory period. So in the refractory period, it is the duration after an effective stimulus. When a second stimulus is applied, there will not be response for the second stimulus. That means, suppose a nerve is there, you are applying a stimulus, it is giving a depolarization, then repolarization, and coming to the resting membrane state. So if you giving the first stimulus, okay, the first stimulus. So when you are giving a second stimulus, again you are stimulating the nerve at here, so it will not increase like this. It will continue, it will complete the action potential curve of first stimulus. So that is called, because the nerve are in a refractory stage. Okay. So in that there are two types. Absolute refractory period. It is the period during an action potential during which the second stimulus will not produce a second response. The second graph you will not get. Suppose this is resting, we are giving a first stimulus. So first action potential curve is formed. So giving a second stimulus here to the nerve, you are stimulating again. Here you will not get a second curve like this. Okay, that is called absolute. In a relative refractory period, if the strength of the stimulus is higher intensity, that will can produce a second response. You will get the response like this with the second stimulus. That is called refractory period. Next, coming to the nerve injuries. Okay, so that's complete the properties of the nerve fiber. So nerve injuries. So in that, neuropraxia means physiological paralysis. So here there is no degeneration is taking place. If you sit for longer time, so your leg will be numbness. You feel the numbness, right, in your leg. So that time, that is called neuropraxia. Okay. Because the nerve fiber will suffer due to application of the pressure with it. Okay. Another one is there, axonotmesis is a nerve fiber get ruptured. Okay, it is a degeneration of the nerve. So whenever the nerve get damaged, okay, whenever the nerve get damaged, there are so much degeneration changes can be seen. Okay, so degeneration in peripheral nerve. The central nerve fiber will not get regenerate, only the peripheral nerve get regenerate. So degeneration we will see in the distal segment of the axon, or just you remember in the axon. So there is axon cylindral, there is axon breakup into small cylindrical structure. Next, coming to regeneration. After a degeneration, whenever the nerve cell get damaged, those parts get degenerate. So immediately after degeneration, so these some changes will taking place, and these changes we will see. One is the multiplication of Schwann cells. Okay, the Schwann cells, you know what is the function? Mainly, it bridges the gap between the cut ends. Suppose this is the cut ends here. So here the cut ends. These Schwann cells make a bridge. Okay, and fill up the gap. Then axon shows multiple sprouts like this. Sprouts will come, and it will, whatever the debris which is filled in the endoneural tube will be washed out. Then slowly there is a rate of growth of the nerve fiber is taking place. Okay, that is 1 mm per day it is growing. Okay, then also the Schwann cells will contribute for the myelin sheath around the regenerative nerve fiber. Okay, the Schwann cells will helpful for the formation of myelin sheath around the nerve fiber, regenerative nerve fiber. Then there is a completion of regeneration of nerve fiber is taking place only after proper myelination. Okay, only after proper myelination. Understood? In the regeneration, the first there is a multiplication of Schwann cells. Okay, multiplication of Schwann cells to bridge the gap between the cut ends. Okay, wherever the cut ends are there, so it will form a bridge. Okay, after endoneural tube, the second thing, the axon will show a multiple sprouting. Sprouting means you know, right? Sprouting of a fibrils. So and the growth, the rate growth of the nerve fiber will be about 1 mm, 1 millimeter per day. 1 millimeter, that much it will grow. If the gap is too much long, the regeneration is not taking place. Okay. Then the Schwann cells will also helpful for the formation of myelin sheath over the regenerative nerve fiber, and the regeneration is complete only when there is a proper myelination is taking place. So as I told, this gap between the cut ends should be less than 3 mm. Okay, less than 3 mm. So then only the regeneration will take. If it is a 5 mm, 6 mm, the regeneration is not taking place. Okay. Okay, that's complete the nerve physiology. Thank you all.